It's Dylan's KC Barbecue at 4 Valley locations. Our sports bar in Arrowhead is packed with TVs for the ultimate sports fan. Our Wildlife World Zoo location will have you on the edge of your seat, dining right next to our 60,000-gallon shark tank. Dylan's Bayou at Pleasant Harbor has never-ending sunsets, beautiful people, and live music every weekend. And our newest location, Western Trails Ranch, is 12 acres of rodeo fun and live outdoor concerts for the entire family. It's Dylan's KC Barbecue, where we're elite, unique, and memorable.
This puppet show stays on because of you fools.
Welcome to the She's So Right Show. We are two conservative women called by Christ to speak up for what's right.
Lindsey Graham, known nationally as the Patriot Barbie, is a proud author, public speaker, and brave political advocate for freedoms, rights, and conservative values.
Brandy Barkley is a powerful Christian leader and founder of Power Soul, certified Christian life coach and public speaker, forging God's battle cry to strengthen believers.
Guys, get ready to say it way more than you're used to. She's so right starts now.
Freedom fighters, are you tired of giving your hard-earned money to big corporations who use their power against us? We are done. As conservatives, the best and most effective way to vote is with our dollars. You can shop with all our favorite companies, sponsors, and affiliates right on our website.
Go to www.shesorightshow.com and click the shop page. We are proud affiliates for MyPillow, My Patriot Supply, and other conservative brands. Get massive savings. Go to shesorightshow.com. Join us in supporting American companies.
Woohoo! Guys, welcome to the She's So Right Show. This is Lindsey Graham.
Hey, Brandy Barkley here.
We are excited to have another amazing guest on today. Greg Anderson. We're going to tell you a little bit about him in a little bit when he comes on, but the vibe today is that we just really feel like we need to talk about the people that are defying mandates. We're talking about...
The three of you.
Yeah, there's 5. We could count them on one hand. We're going on 2 years of this. 2 years.
I know.
Okay, in the beginning, those who were defying the mandates were controversial, right? Oh, you're killing people. Oh, you don't believe in the government. You should go to jail, blah, blah, blah. I just went through, Brandy, emails today from Glamour Salon 2 years ago. And it was hilarious to read the people that were like, you're going to kill everyone's grandmas and die of COVID. I wish you the worst, and we're never going to see you again. I'm like, well, here I am. 2 years later, still kicking. I survived COVID. Imagine that.
Oh my gosh. It's one of the things, I was just in Vegas, for my daughter's 21st birthday.
Right.
And, we're super anti-mask, super anti-conspiracy, which, we're being called the conspiracy people, but we know now, right?
Yep.
There's just too much information, too much actual quote, quote, science. We're walking around this casino, you guys. We walk in. It says, you have to wear a mask. No one's wearing one. No one cares. Everyone's walking around, drinking their coffee, drinking their booze. And, everybody knows it. There's a knowing now. You've got one little Karen in the corner passing out masks with tongs. Mm-hmm. She's passing out clean masks with gloves on with tongs. Clean. Wait, hold on. Ready? Gloves, tongs with a clean mask. This is happening still. And you've got this one crazy nut, and everyone knows the minute you sit down and have a dinner, you go, of course, I don't go to clubs anymore. Hello.
Too old for that.
But my daughter, 21 years old, actually, she's had a drink before, let's face it, but she's never been in a club. So we take her to this club, VIP, the whole thing, and in line, it's wear the mask, stand 6 feet apart. It's like you're at the airport. You walk in, body to body, people are sweating on you, spitting on you. It's ridiculous.
What are they doing after they leave the club? That's what I want to know. Are they being safe? Are they keeping 6 feet apart?
No, I mean, the whole place was like a mosh pit. Everyone is on top of each other. And you know what? Actually, I was inspired, even though I hated the music because none of it had words. But it was like some crazy good DJ. The lights are falling from the ceiling. And I'm watching all these kids in their 20s. And I'm kind of loving it.
Because they're kind of being normal.
I'm loving it. I'm watching them yell together and sing together and jump together and hug and touch and talk. And I'm like, oh, man.
And they've been told for the last 2 years, stay 6 feet apart, mask up, stay home, stay safe.
So either they're not that scared or they're only scared when they're on a college campus that someone's going to bash them.
They're only scared when it's convenient to be scared, right? So it's too scary to go to school and it's too scary to not stand on the dot on the floor. But when I want to go clubbing, I'm fine.
Yeah.
I'm fine. Kiss me.
So it is so true. And but you know what? I was so happy. I was so happy that we weren't being tortured. The only time I got tortured was when I sat down for 5 minutes to play like one hand of blackjack, and and you know what? I'm not a big gambler anyway. Let's be real, but I did sit down for a second, and they were all over me.
Oh yeah.
And so I just was like, never mind.
When you get to Vegas, this is funny because I was in Vegas 3 days before Brandy, or drove home the day before. Same thing. I knew going to Vegas, okay, they have their stupid mandates.
Tell them why you were there.
I was there to endorse a tool, the AR takedown
at
tool.
The SHOT Show. She was a super celeb at SHOT Show.
The Patriot Barbie.
She got kicked out, of course.
I had to tell everyone who I was. You want to come meet and greet me? No. So, first of all, yes, I got kicked out of the SHOT Show because I was the only one who blatantly would not wear a mask. They would come by and say, put your masks on, and I'd pretend to dig for it and then just wait for them to walk away. But by the time, I don't even know if you know this, by the time they came back around, they said, we've told you 5 times to put a mask on. If we come back by here and you're not wearing a mask, you're going to be kicked out. Are you going to wear one? I go, nope. She goes, you're not. And I go, no, it doesn't. I don't believe in it. It goes against everything I stand for. I'm literally the icon of defiance.
Yeah.
I will not. And so literally I got escorted out of security in a blaze of glory.
But you know what? You know what I love? First of all, I love that you did that. But I'm kind of surprised that at the SHOT Show,
here's why.
You're the only person having this problem.
Here's why. The exhibitors signed a contract saying we'll obey the mandate.
Oh, okay.
And I was an exhibitor.
But see, even that makes me mad. But even that bugs me because they can go exhibit somewhere else then.
Well, this is the problem, okay? And we're going to totally go on a rant here, but here's the problem. Why is the SHOT Show holding their show in Vegas when they could be holding it in a free state like Arizona, right?
Yeah.
No mask mandates, no rules, no tyranny, right? So Vegas is not suffering for their consequences. Vegas should lose the billions and billions of dollars that the SHOT Show brings because of their stupid mandates. Guess what I heard? They didn't have a mask mandate. They reinstated it right before SHOT Show.
Oh, my gosh.
This is what I did at SHOT Show.
Penalties only for conservatives.
Yep. We would not, my husband and I would not go into a restaurant if they required a mask. We'd walk out and find a new one. I would not comply in the casinos, and I never, ever gambled because I knew they were going to enforce masks. And I just went, I want you to lose as much income as you can for these mandates. And you know what would have really turned things around for Vegas? If the SHOT Show had said, no, we're not coming there. We're going to go to a free state, a red state like Arizona, bring billions of dollars into their economy, reward them for their freedom.
Yeah.
That's what needs to be happening.
Yeah. Even these conservative artists or country artists are, going to these venues that are asking people to do the vaccine or stand outside and have a Q-tip up your nose right before the concert. And I think if they said no, see, these venues are only doing it because they're getting away with it.
Right. Yep.
I mean, it's so funny. We went to the Carrot Top show. I think it's hilarious, you guys, honestly. And he's conservative. It's fun.
I was not aware of that.
He was on Joe Rogan about a month ago.
Oh, that makes me love him.
And he doesn't get political. Well, actually, he did get political in his show a little bit. It was hilarious. He said even George Bush had those quick reflexes when shoes were being thrown at him. He was able to duck and like dodge the shoes at the podium. You remember when George Bush?
No, I don't.
See, she's younger than us guys.
And also, I wasn't into politics.
Yeah.
Remember, I probably never watched a president speak, ever.
George W. Bush was standing at a podium and shoes were thrown at his face and he ducked and hit him. He goes, if that happened to Biden, he goes, let's be real, you guys. It's over. One shoe is,
oh my gosh.
he has no reflexes at all. So we were cracking up. Half the place is masked, not laughing. Half of it's unmasked, laughing and smiling and having a good time. But the point is, no one asked us to wear a mask when we walked in.
Good. I was going to ask.
No one asked us. And all I can say is
maybe that's his.
It's his little theater.
You will not harass my people. You will not cost me money.
I have no idea, but I feel like all these people that are on cameras and it's their job, right? They have to say it, and I think it's so pathetic because these big companies are bowing down, and they're only doing it, you guys, because they think that it's going to make people feel better.
Right.
So if we were like, no. I don't. This is not making me feel better. You know, this piece of paper strapped to my face is not making me feel better. I don't know. I get sick of it.
Okay, so, and also there's these people that are being hired by the venues to be the enforcement. Literally, they're called safety officers. Isn't that the dumbest thing you've ever heard? I'm a safety officer. Cool, you're at a gun show. I hope there's a safety officer. So I got the chick that was like hardcore. Trying to enforce. Like, she meant it. She believed it. And I looked at her and I said, I don't believe in these things. They don't work. And I'm not going to do it.
The CDC said they don't work.
You could turn your head, and she goes, we all have jobs to do. I'm just doing my job, Kate. If I hear one more person say, quote,
they're full of it.
I'm just doing my job, I'm going to yell Nazi at you, okay? So then guess what? I go to another, I snuck back in the next day, just so you guys know. Kicked out of the SHOT Show. Banned is the word I was told, banned. I snuck back in. And the next day I was over in another booth in an entirely different area, kind of sneaking around looking for, making sure these people were not going to see me. And this guy walks by with his mask up in the air, right? Like he's selling popcorn, right? He's wearing a safety officer shirt. And guess what he says? Mask tyranny? Mask tyranny, anyone? That's his way of enforcing.
It. I love it. He knows
like,
it's stupid.
He was laughing at his job. Hey, I'm supposed to mask you guys all up. I mean, the difference, those two people are both getting paid. They're both doing the same job. One of them thinks that she's actually saving lives by masking the Patriot Barbie. Trust me, I've already spread my cooties all over Vegas. And the other one thinks, we're at a gun show? These people are not masking up. And so I'm just not going to be their enemy. I'm going to walk by with a mask and mask tyranny, mask tyranny.
They would say, ma'am, do you have a mask? I'd say yes.
Yeah.
And I'd walk away. It was in my pocket.
Yeah.
I wasn't lying.
I never got to tell you about the epic viral video we're going to make.
Oh, you didn't. I know. My daughter,
gosh.
you guys, her like love language is quality time. If I'm on my phone and it's her trip, it's like over. Yeah, okay. I had to ignore Lindsay for 3 whole days. So we're just now catching up.
Me. It was tyranny. And for this reason, I'm going to pass a law into effect and get all the senators and legislature to sign it.
Yes.
You cannot ignore me.
I'm excited to talk to our guest because he has, one of the things I loved about what was on his Instagram was how to microdose adversity every day. Get used to being uncomfortable. And I think this is why people are so, they're just so apathetic and so conformist because it's comfortable not to shake it up. You guys, if we were all doing it, do you understand the power? Do you understand the power if we're all shaking a little bit, you know?
Yep.
We have the power. And we're thinking, I don't want to make a stir. It's beyond time. It's overtime. Anyway.
Do something once a day
that pushes your comfort.
Yeah. In the face of this tyranny. Not go bungee jumping. Do something that fights for your rights, your kids' rights, and our rights that makes you a teeny tiny bit uncomfortable. You get a little dose of how brave you are. When we get back, we're bringing on Greg Anderson. You're listening to the She's So Right show. Hey guys, welcome back to the She's So Right show. We got Brandy Barclay, and today our special guest is Greg Anderson. After spending a decade in the special operations paramilitary community and 14 overseas deployments, Greg pursued a new career in law enforcement with the interest of putting the deployment lifestyle behind. For nearly another decade, he served with both the feds as a deputy US Marshal and local law enforcement as a police officer in Seattle, Washington. In light of so many events in 2020 regarding law enforcement, he spoke up on behalf of the profession. He spoke as an officer, encouraging other officers to refuse to enforce the mandates, whoop whoop, and he perceived them as unconstitutional and a violation of our oath. You guys, this video was viral. You probably saw it. It ultimately cost him his job, but it's the best thing that's ever happened. Because of this, he's taken his life in a new direction, runs a successful jiu-jitsu academy, and hosts a podcast called Endless Endeavor. He's married. That's right, ladies. Back off. He's married with three I like to spice up your bio. Do you get that? Married with 3 daughters, passionate about health, fitness, wellness, and capability, which makes Brandy super excited because she thinks there's a whole nother topic, Greg, to dissect with like the mandates and the health and all that. So welcome so much to the show.
Hey, Greg.
Hey, thank you for having me, guys. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks
Yeah.
for being on. I was super stalking you this morning on Instagram to kind of catch what you're throwing. And one of the things I really loved that we ended our last little segment with was how you inspire people to microdose adversity every day. And to me, I feel like the reason why our country's in the place that it is and people are still wandering around with masks on and getting their third jab is because they're trying to avoid adversity, and it's like too late, skate. So I love that you're teaching that, even if it's just a cold plunge. I'm all about health. No one's talking about health. We're talking about these crazy, crappy poisons. So I just want to hear your take on how that mentality has helped you stand in this gap space of strength.
Well, I feel like the powers to be right now, they want us fat, weak, and stupid. Because a population that is fat, weak, and stupid is compliant.
Yes.
And will just do what they say, and will make them rich, and will serve them. And that is what they want the American people to be. And so if you see what's happening in our society, I want to go 180 degrees the opposite direction. And I want to be strong and resilient and intelligent, all the things that they fear, right?
Yeah.
And so part of what I preach is microdose adversity, meaning do something challenging, do something hard every day of your life. And it can be something big or it can be something small, but continuously challenge yourself. You know, if you look at the human experience, from the beginning of recorded history, life was hard. If people wanted to eat, they had to go foraging or they had to go hunting or they starved. If they didn't take the time to build the proper shelters and buck firewood, they would be cold and they would freeze. And like for us to feel comfort as human beings, there's always an equal and opposite reaction to that, meaning we have to go through some discomfort to obtain that.
Right.
Up until, 100 years ago? Now, the human experience is we're just seeking comfort, and we get in our cars and we drive to work and we're in a heated building, and then we come home and we sleep in a comfortable bed, and a lot of people are not feeling any type of discomfort in their life, and I think that that's a big contributing factor to why everybody is getting fat and weak and compliant. And that's not the human experience. Especially as Americans, we are hardwired defiant.
Yeah.
That's what we are supposed to be. Our country was founded on defiance.
Yep.
And it's shocking to me that just observing the American culture over the last 24 months, everybody just does what they're told to their own detriment. And it's crazy to me.
Well, you made a really great point that I just made to my husband yesterday, because I'm going through Instagram and Facebook and I'm seeing all these posts about the shelves being empty. And I'm like, we are depending on those stores and those ships and those trucks to get us our food. Dude, we can go out and grow a garden. We can go hunting.
Yep.
We can go make our own food. And like, this is our biggest problem. The shelves are bare. You don't need shelves. Adam and Eve didn't have shelves.
Lindsay, I'm out of Fruit Loops. Be quiet.
I'm sorry. Go churn your own Fruit Loops. I've got plenty.
I can't grow Fruit Loops in McDonald's, Linz.
Oh my gosh. Don't start with me on McDonald's. Greg, did you hear her say McDonald's just now? Tell me about this fat, weak, stupid thing again.
It's so gross, right? No, but when you say they're fearing discomfort, and can I thank you for your service, for all of your deployments, and how honorable that is, and why having someone like you on who knows what discomfort is, has seen other parts of the world, that there's a whole nother aspect of that is most Americans haven't been to a lot of places other than here, and they're bashing it here. And that's so discouraging and disrupting, isn't it?
Well, and that's one thing that inspired me to make my original video back in May of 2020, when we were only a couple months into the pandemic, is that, I lived in Ramadi, Iraq for the better part of 3 years. And at the time, Ramadi and Fallujah were the most dangerous cities on the planet. And every single day we would get attacked. And it was just violence became a normal part of day-to-day life over there. And it's normal for the soldiers that are over there fighting. It was normal for Al-Qaeda, but it was also normal for just the citizens of Iraq. That was just that was their day-to-day life, watching people get blown up and shot and just the chaos of war. And that became my norm. And when I came back to America and I would see like all these people, and I don't even say this pejoratively because they don't know, they don't have that perspective, but they don't realize how good we have it here and how chaotic and how terrible living in a constant state of combat, how terrible that is for you as a person.
Right.
And so I was concerned that with the police officers nationwide arresting people for going surfing, arresting moms at the park for playing ball. Remember all the stuff that we saw that was egregious. In my heart, I was like, you can only push Americans so far, and then we're going to push back, and now we're going to have violence in our own streets.
That's right.
And as someone that lived in that world for a long time, I was going to do everything that I could to prevent that. And that's what inspired me. If you listen to my original video, I was calling for cops to stand with the American people because I didn't want to see any type of conflict on our own soil.
Right.
And it's crazy to me that Americans haven't pushed back more than they have.
Well, and I don't know what the breaking point is. What's the breaking point? For me, it was right around the time that you broke. I said, I'm not going to shut my business down anymore. I'm literally going to go bankrupt and be in debt for absolutely no reason other than the government said so. And then we talked... Then we did mask mandates. Then we did the vax. Now we're doing vax mandates. And we're losing our healthcare officials and our military. And I'm like, when is the breaking point for the rest of you? It was like 2 years ago for me. Come on.
There are people that sat down and complied all the way up into the point of losing everything. Like, when are you going to stand up and fight for what is yours? And this is one thing that I told people. It's like, dude, I fought for people's freedoms, and I'm saying that in quotes because that's what we were sold. We were sold a lie by the government. But I lost friends, and I put my life on the line for years on end for people's freedoms. What do you think I'm going to do when my own freedoms are at stake? What do you think I'm going to do when my own children's freedoms are at stake? I'm going to fight 1,000 times harder.
That's right. Thank you, Greg. We're going to be right back. You guys are listening to the She's So Right show with Lindsey Graham and Brandy Barclay and our special guest, Greg Anderson. We'll be right back.
Hey guys, welcome back to the She's So Right show. We've got Brandy Barclay, Lindsey Graham, and special guest Greg Anderson. I'm going to read a scripture really quick because I don't know if Greg knows that I'm a Bible thumper, but
just super thump.
For God did not give us a spirit of timidity, but a spirit of power, of love, and of self-discipline. And what we're going to talk about right now is the fact that, you know, some of us, like myself and Brandy, I don't know about you, Greg, but we believe that we are fighting a spiritual war too. And a lot of the times Satan will use my aggressive nature against me and say, well, you're not acting like a Christian with your aggressive, you know, putting down of the transgenders and the blah, blah, blah. And I try to be nice. Sometimes maybe I'm not, but,
well,
but I'm the Patriot Barbie. I'm not the Patriot Princess. So
the word nice is basically more of the definition of nice is basically a complicit word. Yes. So I don't think we're called to be nice. I think we're called to love people, love God and love people. Loving people isn't just bending to lies and complying to lies and letting people be led to the slaughter without, I think of Paul Revere riding through the streets with a warning. And I think right now, someone like you, Greg, you're like a Paul Revere. You're warning people.
You're screaming.
You're
screaming
saying,
it.
like, listen, guys, I've been out there.
Yep.
I've been on the front lines. I'm willing to be on the front lines here, and you should too. And I think that that's so admirable and so awesome. But one of the things that I found out from Linz was you actually, by standing up, lost your job. Is that what happened?
Yeah. So I made the video. That day, my commander called me, and he goes, "What a powerful message, Greg. This department has your back 100%. We agree with you." Just all the political talking points that you get out of the higher ranking people in the profession these days. Mm-hmm. And then he called me back about 2 hours later and goes, and I could just tell, you know.
Oh, no.
He goes, "Greg, you know, I hate to say this, but I was directed to tell you to take the video down. And I said, oh, that's interesting, because 2 hours ago it was a powerful message.
Right.
And you supported it. And I still have that recorded to this day.
Him telling you that?
But I knew that this was coming, right? Because anytime you go against the grain, especially in Seattle, liberal Mecca, I knew that some people would have a problem with it. And he goes, listen, just, I've been directed to tell you to take it down. And if you take it down, it'll be all good. And I said, listen, sir, in the video, I said verbatim that we need to stand up for what we believe to be morally and ethically correct. And we need to stand up for that at any and all cost, even if it costs you your job. And I said, so what, now you expect me to rescind my words when I just put that out there to everybody that I know? And at the time, I didn't know it was going to go super viral to hundreds of millions of people. But at the time, I had 1,000 followers on Instagram that were mostly friends and family and people that I've served with. And I was like, I hold no credibility if I rescind my words.
Sure.
And I said, plus, I'm a police officer telling other police officers to respect people's liberties and protect their constitutional rights. And I said, if a police officer can't say that in America, then maybe I don't want to be one anymore.
Ooh,
so you do what you need to do.
You. See,
And
I'm sorry,
sure
but there is a difference between you and millions of other people. Some people get a little bug up their butt and they think, I'm going to speak up today. They speak up, they get canceled immediately, and then they back off, cower, and recant, and they salvage themselves. Like they compromise, they sell out. And that was your moment where you're like, man, I got a family to provide for, I have a job, I'm a police officer, I'm highly respected. I should just comply, or I got to salvage what I have left.
Yeah, I want to hear your heart in that moment. Like, where even though you're like, okay, I can't recant, did you have a little bit of a freak out? Like, okay, now what?
No.
Oh,
good.
I'll tell you, and I mean, my nickname at the department was Crazy Anderson because I do not compromise on things that I believe. Period.
It's like my spirit
That's
animal.
just not how I'm wired. And I got that phone call. I was off shift. I'd already went home. And I was sitting in my 4Runner in a coffee, an espresso stand, buying coffee, and my wife was sitting right next to me, and the phone was on speaker, so she heard the whole conversation, and she looked over at me, and she goes, "I know what this means." I said, "Yep, you know exactly what this means, because I am not going to compromise my values and my beliefs for a paycheck. I'll starve to death first."
Yep.
You know what?
Like
Can I just say what
a?
Yep. Go ahead.
I'll go out in the woods and hunt and fish and make it on my own if I have to, before I'll bend a knee to what I perceive as tyranny, period. You know? And it's shocking to me that all police officers didn't feel that way. And I'll tell you this, in the lunchroom, behind closed doors, talking to other cops, 100% of police officers that I know are in full agreement with everything that I said. I have yet to have a person challenge me that is inside of the profession, because we all know that it's the truth.
Right.
But
isn't it disheartening? Isn't it disheartening though that you had to stand alone in this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
When push comes to shove, most people will bend a knee and take the easy path.
Man,
right.
but it's not easy in the end, brother. So we'll be right back with the She's So Right show.
I hope one day they finally see the truth. God, we need you now.
Hey guys, we're back with the She's So Right show. This is Brandy Barclay and my amazing co-host Lindsey Graham.
Amazing.
And today we are interviewing the strong Greg Anderson. Greg, thank you.
Crazy Anderson.
Crazy Anderson. I want to just say, Greg, the last portion where you're talking about when you lost your job and you knew, there was a knowing, like, okay, I'm not going to back down. That's not who I am. Your wife is listening to this going, okay, this is where we are. I do have to say, what a lucky girl. You know why? Because I would rather be married to a man who will not bow and take a knee to this tyranny than a wimp.
Nope.
So, I think if any men who are listening out there, any men, women prefer, even though it may mean, your wife's not out getting her nails done and your guys aren't taking major vacations. I don't know what this looks like for you, but I would rather be married to a man who will stand up for what's right than who will bow to what's wrong. So good for you.
Yeah. And honestly, I don't know if men realize how much women are looking at them right now going, I'm showing up to school boards. I'm doing this. I'm fighting for our kids. What are you doing? It is time to be the man that leads this family. That's your God-given role. I think if you're not, your wife wants to see you, just like Greg wants to see you stand up and not back down and fight for something. We need to see the manly men rise up in America again. Greg, that's your mission, should you choose to accept it. Inspire the rest of the men in America.
Well, you are. I'm
trying.
Thank you. You're doing a great job.
I believe that courage is contagious, and that's something that I say on my show often. When other people see other people within their society being courageous and standing up and not bending a knee, then there's the potential for them to say, I can do that too.
Right.
That could be me. And I'm hoping, because we're not done with this fight yet. That's why we're having this conversation right now. So more people can hear it and be inspired and say, you know what? This is where I draw the line. And that's what I talk about on my show a lot, is draw the hard lines right now. Yeah. Draw the hard lines when you're at home and you have a clear mind and you're not invested so much emotionally. That way, when they start to force us into these corners, we already know where we stand. The decisions are already made, and now we know. And for me, I was told that the request to have my video pulled down came from the governor's office.
Oh, wow.
That's Governor Jay Inslee.
Oh,
right?
Of course it is, yeah.
And I'm going to tell you right now that I don't adhere to bullying tactics from any human being on planet Earth. And so what do we teach our kids in school? So if a bully demands your lunch money, do you just hand it over?
Nope.
Does that make the problem go away?
Yeah.
The American government are being bullies right now.
Yes.
And never in any time throughout history of mankind has adhering to a bully's demand worked out for the better.
Right.
And I feel like people are in that mindset now. If we just comply, we'll go back to normal soon. Well,
2 years
we
later,
now know we are complying ourselves into concentration camps.
Into communism.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Absolutely.
Like, this will absolutely never end until we make it end.
Right.
But there's a big point in all this that I want to make sure to get out to your listeners today, because I know a lot of first responders, teachers, doctors, that they're like, oh, I'll lose my job if I don't do this, and I got kids and I got a mortgage. I'm here to tell you that the universe will reward courage. And you can call it God, you can call it energy,
I'm gonna call it
you
God.
can call it karma. Yeah, no, like whatever you believe in your heart, but the fact is, it's absolutely true, because my small business blew up. And I am now, and I don't say this, I always tell people this, I'm not saying this to boast or, oh, look at me, I'm a big success story. But our gym and our podcasts are now making us 2 to 3 times as much money as I was making as a police officer.
Good.
And so I like people to hear this, because a lot of people think like, oh, this is my career and I'm kind of pigeonholed and this is all I know how to do and I don't have any other skill sets. All that's nonsense. Those are lies that you tell yourself. If you're a resilient person and you believe in yourself and you have work ethic, you can go out there and you can start over. I'm 41 years old, started over, and now I'm the best that I've ever done. And that is because if you truly believe that you can accomplish things, you will. You have to believe that. But they don't want people to have will and belief in themselves. They want people to be in a constant state of fear, in a constant state of being triggered. And if you allow yourself to be in those states, you will never succeed, because you're trapped and you're stuck and you're like a dog chasing its tail. You can't break that cycle.
Right.
And so people need to know, if you're put in a position where you have to choose right versus wrong, everybody already knows what the right answer is. They know in their heart, but they're afraid to take the right path because they think it's going to come with a lot of negative consequences. That's a lie you're telling yourself. The right path will enrich your life. I promise you.
Right. And even if it does come with a few consequences, what you're saying is, and what I'm agreeing with you completely, is that if you do what's right, like you said, God, karma, universe, it comes back around. There is no way that life was meant to be non-rewarding when you are a good person. I don't know if that's the way what
I actually, from a biblical perspective, the bold are blessed. And,
blessed are the persecuted.
Yes. And, you are being, in essence, persecuted by the world for standing for what's right. When you read the Bible, the good guys are persecuted, and the Lord said, be grateful. Be grateful when you're on that side of things, because you're on the right side of things. This world is not is not God. And he sees and he has a plan. And it's like, I feel sometimes that I know this is God separating the wheat from the tares. Like, people have to get off the fence and get off this lukewarm mentality through life of, I'm just going to do the bare minimum. I never have to make a really big decision. I can just get in my car, go to work, go home. Every single day now, we're all being confronted with what we believe. And I believe that's from God. I believe God wants us confronted. I think he wants to say, child, where do you stand? Mm-hmm. Because we all have that decision to make. And I believe that's the ultimate decision and lands us in heaven or hell. And right now, either this world is the closest to hell you'll ever be, or the closest to heaven you'll ever be. I think that's the ultimate thing, is we're all journeying out of this place. And I want to be able to, I always say, reverse engineer your life from your deathbed. Do you want to lay there with pride knowing, you know what? I stayed true to what was right, not what was easy. I left a legacy for my family, for my children of strength. I put steel in the spine of the people that needed it around me. I was a leader. I didn't just say it. I led with action. You're doing all of those things, Greg. It's just awesome. And I love your better health. Watching you challenging people in health when everyone's being jabbed is another thing. I'd love for you to talk about that a little bit.
Well, real quick, one thing I wanted to say about like being the leader of your family, it made me just think, because a lot of people told me when I said, I'm drawing these hard lines and I'm not backing down and I'm going to get fired. And a lot of people are like, Greg, you have kids. You have kids. Mm-hmm. I heard that a ton from people. Yep. And the one thing that I will say to people out there, if you're using your kids as an excuse to display weakness and bend to knee, I'll tell you, you know what's more important to your children than you bringing home your paycheck is you teaching them how to stand with integrity and honor and be resilient and be on the right side of history. Those are the lessons that your kids are going to carry. You can get a job anywhere.
That's right.
You'll figure out a way to feed your family. That's going to happen. But what lessons are you going to teach them in the process? Right. That's what I said. I said, I would rather my kids watch me get fired and watch me struggle and watch me start over. But my dad didn't back down.
Yeah, baby.
Period.
Ooh, tell us about your dad.
And so,
no, him. He's talking about himself.
Oh, his kids are saying that. I'm like, oh wait, this lion came from somewhere.
No, so the resilience is like, without resistance, how do you teach resilience, right?
Yeah. And so once I decided, hey, I'm moving away from the professional law enforcement and I'm going to put all of my energy into my gym, I was in Washington State. I was getting all the same things that you were getting. Shut your gym down immediately. People are saying that your gym is open. People are saying you're getting reported to labor and industry. And we got all these letters and emails. And I told my wife, I said, I'm starting to bring my body armor and my rifle with me to work. And if any man tries to deprive me of my ability to feed my family, we are going to fight to the death. Oof. And I know that sounds dramatic to some people,
it doesn't.
But I've been in war. I've been in war plenty of times. None of the people that I fought over on the other side of the planet Earth were trying to take away my children's meals.
Right.
So I said, the people that are trying to take away my ability to feed my family now, they are literally trying to deprive my own children of their livelihoods. We're going to fight to the death.
They are starting a war, not you.
Okay, so you would say right now to our listeners, are we at war now? What's your thought?
You know, I am shocked that we haven't seen more violent outbursts, because once you start to put people back on their heels and deprive them of their basic human rights, they should fight back.
People are on the edge.
And so we've been on the edge for a long time, and I feel like there's some type of cataclysmic event that could make everything go off like a powder keg. Do I want that to happen? No, of course I don't. But I'll tell you, if they don't back down, it might need to happen. And it goes back to what we were saying. The right path isn't always the most comfortable one. Sometimes the right path is arduous and it's difficult, but you have to go through that to come out on the side of right down the road. And so...
Can I just say something really quick, Greg, about everything you're saying? Okay, when we launch a podcast, we do like a cute little picture of you and special guest Greg, and then we do like a quote. And I'm running out of like how many quotes, how many one-liners can I throw out with Greg?
So good.
I've got sitting here getting goosebumps the entire episode. Never have we spoken to someone with this much
conviction.
fire and
I love it.
And
This
strength and
conviction
faith
needs to be contagious. I hope that this episode just blows up.
This is my
because
favorite.
when we're talking about there being a war, I think there's a war over the minds, the mind of our children, the mind of the people. There's this warfare of just be nice, just be nice, just be a good person, just be nice, just be nice. And it's like there's this huge, it's like this submission that has overtaken. I look at these kids in schools with masks on, little kids who've had worn a mask now for like 2 years. And I think, how dare, I don't know how these parents can stand it. I just don't know how they can stand it to watch their little kids. They're suffering now from speech impediments and all the things because the mom and dad are too wimpy. I can't handle it.
What are you doing with your kids,
Well,
Greg?
So I pulled them out of public school
Heck
because
yeah, you
no
did.
person will put a mask on my child unless
you.
they want to fight me to death.
Yep. Thank you.
And again, you're not going to force all of your evil nonsense onto my little babies.
Yep.
Period. It's not going to happen. And so we are at a private Christian academy, and it is the only school in Western Washington that is in 100% defiance of vaccine and mask mandate.
Good.
And
Good for you.
the pastor there, he's basically another version of me, but he doesn't drop as many F-bombs. I
think you've done very well for the radio.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
Well, I'll let your listeners know that if you listen to my personal podcast, just be prepared.
It won't be
'cause
quite as
Beware,
sensitive.
beware.
So actually, do tell everyone really quick, since you slid that right in. That was perfect. Where they can find you,
So-
your podcast, everything.
My podcast is called The Endless Endeavor, and it's on anywhere you can find podcasts, Apple, Spotify, Stitcher, all of that stuff.
Okay.
And then the easiest way for people to interact with me is through my Instagram. And my Instagram handle is GRAnderson33.
Okay. I don't know. I beg to differ. I tried to get you on my podcast. It took like 6 months for you to respond.
Yeah, stop
I'm just
ignoring
kidding.
us, Greg. We're annoyed.
You don't have anything better to do than interview with She's So Right. Trust me.
I'm a terrible person. I apologize.
I actually think that's how the message came.
Okay,
I'm a terrible person. We're
really,
wrapping up.
really fast, 30 seconds. Tell us your thoughts about just health. 30 seconds. Your challenge to American people to get healthy in 30 seconds.
Prioritize your health over everything. You
Yep.
cannot win this conflict if your mind and your body aren't strong. The human body, I always tell people, is the original piece of issued combat equipment. If you want to be tough, you want to be resilient, if you want to be able to stand up and fight against these oppressors, you have to prioritize your health, your fitness, and become a fit, capable human being. So there's
Amen,
a number one
brother.
Good, Greg. Thank
Amen.
you.
Thank
This
you.
was such a good show. You guys, thanks for listening to She's So Right with Lindsey Graham and Brandy Barclay. Can't wait to get in your ears next week. God bless you all.
God bless America.
It's Dylan's KC Barbecue at 4 Valley locations. Our sports bar in Arrowhead is packed with TVs for the ultimate sports fan. Our Wildlife World Zoo location will have you on the edge of your seat, dining right next to our 60,000-gallon shark tank. Dylan's Bayou at Pleasant Harbor has never-ending sunsets, beautiful people, and live music every weekend. And our newest location, Western Trails Ranch, is 12 acres of rodeo fun and live outdoor concerts for the entire family. It's Dylan's KC Barbecue, where we're elite, unique, and memorable.